Hello crafters, today is my first day in my 2018 Christmas card series. I'm very excited, and to start this Christmas card series off right, I'm going to show you how to use up your scraps in 3 different creative ways. So the first way is to really use that stunning paper that you love, but you really don't use too much because it's just too nice. This shows it off to perfection and none is wasted. So what I'm using is some old paper from Craft Cellar, and it's an old magazine that it kind of retired. Unfortunately, you can't get any more. I was very sad, but anyway, I have these papers left, and it's kind of the Scandi Christmas thing. It's lovely. Then I took the Lawn Fawn stitched border dies, and I put them in a line with washi tape, and I embossed a piece of paper in with that. You could use your embossing mat, or you don't have to. I just die cut them like that, and then I cut it in half. And now I'm going to cut out this Sue Wilson holiday happy Christmas die, and I just used some felt so it would cut well because it is quite an intricate die, and instead of using a shim I just used felt. That's me. And then I only really wanted the Christmas part, so I'm just going to cut it so like the Christmas is intact, but I'm going to cut off the happy and the line. And that's a very good tip. You can always only use half the die, quarter of the die, or whatever you want. And then I'm going to colour it with some smooch inks, and I used gold and red. You could also use just foil or metal paper from the start, but I didn't do that because I kind of lost mine. I was very unorganized for this video. And then I put some multimedia matte behind my die cuts, and I stuck those down, and I just lined them up with some tweezers. And in the meantime, I had stuck down my paper and the white diagonal cut paper as well. Then I had this little happy stamp, and I just stamped that down twice. And you can see for the cards I did 2 different kinds. There's a gap between the white paper and the pattern paper in one of them, and one there isn't. Another way is paper weaving. So I had these scraps left over from when I was covering card bases with these last year, and I thought it would be nice to do something with them, so I just cut them up into different sized strips, and I'm just going to line those up, and I'm going to do some paper weaving with them. So my tips for this, for paper weaving to make it look as nice as possible, is to use different coloured papers, to use different widths of paper, and just to really mix it as much as you possibly can. And also you can leave some like more and less on each side, as you will see, and then just make sure you do the opposite each time. So if you go over, over next time. Yeah. And then once that is done, I'm going to rip off my paper, folding it backwards so it does not rip the paper. And then I'm going to take a big very wide thing of this is double-sided tape, or you could just use individual strips, and this is very handy because you can stick it down directly. And now, as you can see, there's many ways to cut this to fit your card base. You can kind of have it hanging off, which I kind of prefer, or you can have it hanging on, like if you're going to be sending it. It's probably easier to do that. And you can just cut them in diagonals, straight, fishtails. I just used a mixture, and that really makes it so much better. And then now I just have to take off my double-sided tape and stick it down, and voila, complete. And I'm really happy with my kind of art piece there. I think it's art. Next, I had stamped lots of stamps. I didn't even bother to take them off the plastic, and I just used that. It's so much easier to kind of know when you like to kind of see where it should go on a card. I find that. And this is just a Do Craft stamp, and you could also put some Nuvo drops or something like that, but I kind of like it like that, to be honest. Next, I'm going to be doing the paper weaving again, but I'm going to be doing it so much wider, about 6 inches, which is the length of the paper, the length of the strips, and I'm going to be cutting them out using some dies. I had one stitched and one that wasn't stitched. Actually 2 that weren't stitched, so you can use stitched dies and it creates a nice effect. And then I just pop them off, and you do have to cut them. And probably because I put some double-sided tape behind, it's just so much easier for me. And then you have these 3 woven paper circles, and they look very good, and it's kind of really interesting how they like all different kinds of papers and stuff, so I really do like that. And again, you probably won't have to cut them if you don't use double-sided tape, but I would use double-sided tape so they don't all fall apart, and that definitely will make your life a lot easier. And I had this background that I made in a video. I'll have it carded up here. It's a 5 background techniques video, but of course you could do it on just a plain background. And my idea for these circles was they're going to be baubles. Then I took this thread. You could use any thread. I don't know, I just had this really nice gold and kind of green and kind of brown thread, so I just stuck that to the back of my baubles, and since there was double-sided tape on the back, it made it so much easier. You could also use glue or masking tape or whatever you have, and then I just stuck those down onto my card. And I think it's much nicer if you kind of have them going over the edge. It's just a bit more realistic in my opinion. Then I had these little more scraps of the same paper, and I just stuck those down as like the hangers of the baubles because I thought they were a bit too abstract without it. That's just me. And then ideally you would stick your threads behind with some masking tape or some double-sided tape or whatever you want. And I just cut off the sides of the baubles. It'd be really nice to leave them if you kind of had a long skinny card and then just kind of do them on the side. That might be my next video, but we'll see. And then I just stuck down my sentiment, same as the first card basically, and that's really all for today. If you like this video, please tell me down below, and tell me down below what you want to see next in my holiday Christmas card series 2018. I know I haven't been doing much, but I can't wait to do more, so please like, comment and subscribe.